Hello. You'll be looking for Clueless Manor, I expect. We're heading that way ourselves. Care to walk with us? Terrible business. We were there when it happened, you know.
Yes, indeed, quite shocking. I knew him very well. Stayed at the manor many times. This visit, well, we all arrived yesterday on the 13:27 from London. I travelled with Dr. White. We met on the platform at Paddington both terribly early. Such a happy coincidence, wasn't it, dear Doctor?
Oh, indeed. Most serendipitous.
Exactly. And since we were both so early, the station master offered us the train that was about to depart, rather than the one we had booked. Only it was the mail train, you know. No first-class carriage, and I didn't like the thought of bunking up with other people's correspondence. All a bit grubby. Besides, I had reserved two delightful seats in the buffet car, just in case I was lucky enough to bump into one of the other guests on the platform, which of course I did. So we remained together for the whole journey, didn't we, dear Dr. White?
Indeed we did, and do you know, I didn't see another soul from the weekend party until we got off, when we noticed that Oscar Orange had been in the adjacent carriage all along. If only we'd known. He would have been most welcome to join us.
Really? Well, I have to say I found you such charming company, Doctor, that I was quite content not to see another soul until we arrived at Clueless Manor.
Actually, I tell a lie. I think I may have glimpsed Miss Red at Paddington, just before I bumped into you, my dear. Couldn't say so for sure, as I was only introduced to her once we arrived at the manor. But she's a very striking girl, you know. Pretty certain it was her. Didn't spot her on the train, though.
Striking, is she? I really can't say I've noticed. Was there anything unusual? Not that I can think of. Our train arrived at Clueless Junction a little ahead of schedule, so we had to wait for the car to come and collect us. Just for a few minutes. It was all reasonably quiet.
Apart from that chap kicking up a bit of fuss on the platform, don't you remember? Something about a missing bicycle.
Oh, yes, I do recall now that you mention it. All a bit heated. I tried not to pay it any attention. There was an officious sort already dealing with it by the look of it. Then the cars pulled up and we got straight in. We went in the first with Mr. Orange and left the other driver to hunt down the remaining guests.
The purpose of our gathering, well, it was just a house party, really, although I suspect old Body intended to tap us for money at some point over the weekend. He usually does.
But it's generally for a very good cause, my dear. He's a very generous benefactor of the arts, you know.
Bit too generous, if you ask me. Spends so much cash on his little projects. He scarcely has 2 pennies to rub together himself sometimes. What's that? You want to see our tickets? Whatever for? Inspector of Railways now, are you? Oh, very well.